tucked into the rolling countryside of Charles County, Maryland. It's the kind of place where history feels close, where old maps from the late 1800s still show the same winding roads and railroad lines that once connected southern Maryland's farms and towns. Faulkner is best known for the Loyola Retreat Center, a peaceful Roman Catholic retreat set amid woods and meadows. For generations, people have come here to step away from daily life, seeking quiet reflection or spiritual renewal. The center's roots run deep, reflecting the area's long-standing ties to Catholic tradition, which dates back to Maryland's earliest colonial days. Charles County itself is a mix of rural charm and modern growth, with a rich history that includes Revolutionary War figures, ironworks, and even a brief stop by John Wilkes Booth after he shot President Lincoln. The county is also home to several historic homes and properties, some of which are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. If you're exploring the area, you'll find a landscape shaped by centuries of farming, with small communities, old churches, and the occasional surprise, like Truman's Place, a historic home near Faulkner that's quietly tucked away among the trees. The weather here is mild most of the year, with humid summers and cool, crisp winters. Locals often talk about the changing seasons, from the first spring blooms to the golden hues of autumn along the backroads. Passing through the cool, misty pre-dawn over Maryland's eastern shore, you'd notice that the night is still holding on at Kent Point Farm. Temperatures hovering just above 44 degrees Fahrenheit, with overcast skies and a steady breeze slicing gently through the marshes. Kent Point sits at the southern tip of Kent Island, a place with an origin story that reaches back nearly 4 centuries. As early as 1631, it was the site of Maryland's very first English settlement, a fort built by William Claiborne for trade with local Native Americans, mainly the Taquag tribe. Rivalries between English colonies, especially Claiborne's Virginia and Lord Baltimore's Maryland, saw the island caught in jurisdictional struggles more than once during those rowdy colonial days. These disputes shaped much of the island's story well into the Revolutionary era. What really stands out about Kent Point Farm is its relationship with the land. Once exhausted by tobacco, a crop that stripped the soil bare, farmers shifted to growing corn, wheat, berries, and melons as the ground recovered. But it wasn't just crops that fueled the region. The Chesapeake Bay's abundance brought in watermen chasing Maryland blue crab, oysters, and rockfish, with these delicacies anchoring local tables for generations. Today, Kent Point lures visitors with its sweeping views across the bay, wild shorelines, and prized fishing spots, but it's the understated pieces of history, like the modest potato houses once rented out by Black entrepreneur Andrew Wilson, that tell the real story of resilience and adaptation. The area's rural feel and scattered historic farm buildings offer a glimpse of a lifestyle where barns outnumber stores and the pace slows with the tides. Not far off is Stevensville, a steamboat-era town that blossomed as a mercantile hub in the 1800s, and to the north, the remnants of old ferry crossings that once linked the mainland to these storied fields and inlets. Here, in the quiet churn of pre-dawn fog, it feels like the past is always close by, etched into the land and whispered in the wind off the bay. Flying near Barclay in Queen Anne's County gives you a glimpse into Maryland's quieter side. A village founded in 1873 as Merrickton, only taking the Barclay name in 1890 before its official incorporation in 1931. You won't see much bustle here. It's a compact crossroads community, with a population of around 150, where single-family homes cluster along Maryland routes 313 and 302. That crossroads location isn't just pretty on a map. It's made Barclay a surprisingly handy logistics hub, with a short-line railroad and 2 state highways crisscrossing town. The local economy is led by Reeb Millwork, a sizable regional door manufacturer whose presence anchors Barclay's job market. Supporting shops and services, think a towing company, a burial vault manufacturer, a tire shop, and one well-loved deli, help keep things humming. It's small-town America, but with modern perks like broadband for local businesses, a detail that's not a given in every rural Maryland corner. Seasonally, Barclay experiences the classic mid-Atlantic climate, Hot, humid summers, crisp autumns, and the occasional winter snowfall that quietly blankets its streets. You won't find tourist crowds or celebrity chefs, but the area is rich in Eastern Shore food traditions, fresh produce, homemade pies, and roadside stands. Nearby routes, especially in the harvest months. If you're looking for an off-the-beaten-path stop, the old railroad line hints at Barclay's late 19th century growth, and historic maps reveal just how little the footprint has changed over more than a century. A little local trivia: the town's name is said to have come about from a local family, though the original, Merrickton, lingers in older records. Not a place for the grand or ostentatious, Barclay is memorable for its deep-rooted quiet, where the hum of delivery trucks is rivaled only by backyard conversations on an ordinary evening.
Does anyone want to start a trend where we make the number 38 famous like we
Passing over Middletown in the hush of night's overcast skies, with temperatures around 40 degrees and humidity at a dense 94%, it's easy to imagine the slow, peaceful rhythm of this old crossroads town. Middletown's story stretches back to the 1670s when Adam Peterson first claimed land here, a location once so central to cart travel between the Atlantic and Chesapeake that oxen loaded with local produce were a common sight. The odd name? It's strictly practical. Middletown sat halfway along the busy cart road between Odessa's Appoquinimink Creek and Maryland's Bohemia River, earning its place in history not as a port, but as the Diamond Town in the Diamond State, thanks to its uniquely shaped boundaries established in the 1800s. History buffs love Middletown for its architectural survivors, like the Middletown Academy, built in 1826 and still anchoring North Broad Street. Cochrane Square, at the crossroads, rallies the community around its monument to war heroes, originally raised for those lost in World War I, now honoring all who've served. The ruins of the Witherspoons Tavern offer a tangible link to colonial days and remind locals of a fire in 1946 that nearly wiped out this town landmark. Local life here charms visitors, especially in summer, when the old-time Peach Festival bursts onto the scene with music, homegrown food, and throngs enjoying the peach bounty that once powered Middletown's economy. For more everyday flavors, the Dutch Country Farmers Market serves Pennsylvania Dutch staples, soft pretzels, shoofly pie, and smoked sausage. Here's a quirky childhood custom. Some local families have their own legend that the diamond shape of Middletown brings luck if you walk its full outline on foot. A walk not many attempt anymore, given the town's steady expansion. If there's time, nearby Odessa features historic homes and tranquil creek walks, while Wilmington's cultural buzz sits just 24 miles north. Middletown bridges Delaware's rural past and its growing suburban present, staying memorable for both its crossroads heritage and modern-day hospitality. You're heading into a region where American history feels genuinely alive. Wilmington and its neighboring New Castle sit at the crossroads of some pivotal moments: Swedish and English colonization, the Industrial Revolution, the Underground Railroad, and the birth of American entrepreneurship. New Castle itself is a remarkable time capsule. The colonial architecture there is so well preserved that it rivals Williamsburg in authenticity, with buildings like the Dutch House dating back to around 1690 and the Amstel House from 1738. Walking those cobblestone streets, you're literally treading where Delaware's earliest European settlers arrived aboard the Kalmar Nickel in the 1600s. What makes this area truly distinctive is its role in the abolitionist movement. Thomas Garrett, a legendary Underground Railroad conductor, was tried right in the New Castle courthouse for helping enslaved people escape north, and his legacy is deeply woven into the region's identity. That commitment to freedom is commemorated at the Tubman Garrett Riverfront Park in Wilmington, where a striking statue depicts both Garrett and Harriet Tubman together. But there's another Wilmington story that might surprise you. The DuPont Company essentially built the modern chemical industry here. The Hagley Museum preserves the original gunpowder factory and thousands of patent models, showcasing how this corner of Delaware became a laboratory for American innovation. If you're into grand estates, the Nemours Mansion, think Versailles reimagined in Delaware, is extraordinary. The region also has this wonderful fabric of smaller historic sites. Old Swedes Church, where you can trace the footsteps of those first settlers. Historic Odessa with its 18th and 19th century architecture, and living history farms like Greenbank Mills that demonstrate early American farming and textile production. It's the kind of place where you can spend a day genuinely understanding how America took shape, not just reading about it in textbooks, but seeing the actual spaces where it happened. Tinicum Township in Delaware County is a fascinating patchwork of early American history and modern life along the Delaware River. Centuries ago, this very spot was chosen by Swedish colonists in 1643 to be the capital of their new Sweden colony. Governor Johan Prince built his manor here, the Prinshof, which became a hub for Swedish administration and introduced community features that were firsts for Pennsylvania, like the establishment of the first Lutheran church and flour mill in what would later become the state. The area's name itself comes from the Lenape, who called it Mataniking, meaning where they catch up with each other. One of the township's crown jewels is the Philadelphia Lazaretto, built in 1801 as the first quarantine hospital in the United States, screening ships and immigrants long before Ellis Island was even conceived. This building later served as a base for Philadelphia's early aviation efforts and military training during World War I, showing just how adaptable Tinicum's historical sites have been over time. Governor Prince Park, on the old manor site, is now home to reconstructed Swedish log cabins, meticulously recreated to celebrate the township's colonial roots. These cabins, sometimes the setting for traditional Swedish-American festivities, stand as a tribute to the unique blend of cultural influences that shaped the area. Events like midsummer and harvest celebrations draw folks eager to reconnect with this rich Scandinavian legacy. Despite all the history, Tinicum is very much a living community with neighborhoods shaped by its proximity to the river and Philadelphia's airport. It's common to find longtime locals alongside aviation buffs and history enthusiasts, all adding to a lively, down-to-earth vibe. For a bit of trivia, Tinicum was once part of the earliest European court system in Pennsylvania, where colonial Swedes convened jury trials, laying groundwork for legal customs that continued well after William Penn's time.